At what age and how did you realize that you are alive and in your body? A sort of self-awareness? I don't know, maybe like 4? I think it was around then for me, too. One of my earliest memories. I was standing in the door of my bedroom, and I watched my older brother walk down the hall and go into the bathroom. And I realized, he needs to pee. He has a whole world of private thoughts and sensations going on in his head. It was the first time I grasped that my mind was sealed off from others, and their minds were completely hidden from me. It fried my toddler noodle. I am abort. For me it was when I was 5 and I was looking in the mirror. Before that it was like I was watching a movie from an outside perspective. I'm now 30 and I find myself going through periods of time where I'm just going through the daily motions of life where I lose sight of that awareness, and then I get these random moments where it hits me like a brick wall again and I experience it again. When I started school, I realized I couldn't drink from my sippy cup anymore and watch TV. That's when it started. This may sound strange, but probably around 18 or so. When I went into the military and met all these other people from all over the country and realized all us humans are the same and can have similar interests yet come from entirely different upbringings and places. I have been on vacations in some other places besides my home state, but this was, an awakening? Not sure how one would describe it. Around half it's my very earliest memory that made me realize I was alive. I was in my pram and it started to rain. I remember this great big screen being pulled over the top of me, then trying to reach up to touch it. It's literally just like a 2-second memory, but it has always stayed with me. Around 22. I get in and out of that phase. Maybe it's dissociation, but it doesn't feel like it, like I've had true dissociation before, but I don't know and sure. Sometimes I would feel like I'm looking through another lens, like a TV screen, while I'm just walking around, for example from the supermarket and back home. Maybe it's an eyesight issue or a too much screen issue. Either way it feels dreamlike or matrix-like almost. On the flip side, I was in my 40s before I realized that myself is not continuous, but exists fleetingly only in rare moments of conscious self-awareness. My current sense of self was created in this moment only, because your post made me self-reflect, and will disappear like smoke when my attention wanders in a moment. When I attended a funeral for the first time, I was 6 years old. My great-grandmother had passed. 47. When I was about 3, I remember I thought that I was the only person that could see, hear, etc., and decide what to do with it. I thought that only my eyes are fully functional, because I had the vision from only my eyes. I thought that everyone else's behavior and movement was sort of automatic, like in animals, because I had no control over it. Basically, I thought that everyone else is an NPC. Shortly after I realized the truth, I still thought that politicians and officers were NPCs, because they were ruling and could decide what happens to everyone, while a normal person can't. I was 4 years old. There's nothingness, and then I'm standing in my room. I'm what? When I first started school and was thus thrust into a more prominent religious setting, I kept trying to ask my parents why me, why can I only see my life? And no one got what I was saying. Sad face, I was confused as to why of all the people on earth God made me the focus of my life. Why can I see through my eyes and experience my life? Why aren't I someone else? Someone else's soul? Someone else's body? I could be anyone, but I'm me, in this life. Why? Messed me up trying to think about and explain it. It's still hard to explain. I don't know how. I try not to think why me anymore, especially as that's a darker question in my older age. When I got suicidal, I think I was about 9 years old. A month or 2 ago at the age of 15. I only just realized when you said it. Around 19. Those methafrican shrooms were really strong. They say when you notice your reflection. Lacan. Probably 4. As we speak. I'm around 14-16 I think. but the fact is that I sometimes felt like I was trapped in the body. It was a bad period, but hopefully, it finished a couple of years ago. 7-9ish. I mean, I knew sooner obviously, but I remember I touching a piece of paper and thinking this, everything is real. Don't know what I was thinking. Wait a minute, are you trying to tell this 80-year-old man that I am alive and in my body? What do you mean, exactly? I'm 23, and earlier this year, within the first couple of times I dropped acid, I gained a deeper appreciation of all life. It's really stereotypical and kinda cheesy, but everything from insects to plants to other humans are pretty amazing. Along with that came a fuller self-awareness and self-appreciation. My self-esteem is a good bit better too. Just last year, so 21 or 22. I was about 4 standing in our front yard on a sunny day. I remember staring at my hand and clenching it and unclenching it, thinking I'm alive. It gave me a very surreal feeling. I was able to replicate that feeling for a while by staring at my hand and thinking I'm alive, but as I got older I could no longer do it. I think about that feeling once in a while and wonder if death will have the same feeling. I'm alive. I think I would have been 3, 4 at this time. I had woken up from a nightmare and was screaming in my parents' room, and I remember they woke up and asked me if I was okay and I said that yes, I was. My mum told me to get ready and she'd make me food, and I remember looking at her confused and agreeing. It was weird, because I knew she was my mom, and that the person next to her was my dad, but I didn't remember any moment that I had shared with her. I walked downstairs and thought to myself that my brother would probably wake up soon, and I knew his face. I knew the nickname that I called him, but I couldn't think of a single memory of him I had. I sat in my living room and stared out my window like a little creeper after that and was thinking about my pre-K class, and it was the same thing. I knew the names of my teachers, my classmates. I could see their faces, but I couldn't think of a single thing I remembered about my class. I tried thinking about what I did yesterday, or the day before, but I couldn't remember a thing. The only thing I remembered was my nightmare from that morning, and then waking up. It was like I was given all these facts in a movie about my life without ever actually watching it, if that makes sense. I got pretty stressed out, all things considered, and when my mum came downstairs she asked me if I was okay and I just said yeah and ate my breakfast. And as soon as I had my food I had decided I didn't super care and went on my way. Super weird experience for me, and I haven't found anyone who's had that same experience yet, but I figure it's pretty close to a self-awareness moment. I was 3. I remember my mother carried me, and my brace was like hold up. I can think, and that's when me as an abomination started. I don't know, I never had a realization I was alive. I always just kinda existed, nothing special in the world, just another human being. I don't remember, I guess I've always known. About 13 days ago. Maybe once or twice around the ages of like 4 and 9, but more often around 13 and onwards. Well, most people develop it at a really young age. At my first day of high school, yeah, it took a bit. A few days after my first birthday, I vividly remember falling down the sofa. It's my earliest memory. 3 or 4. 5. I would look in the mirror and touch my stomach. I wondered what made me feel touch, and how that sense only happened to me. I was 4 and I remember calling my mum, because I pooped myself. When I was 3, I think. Before that it felt dark and I was floating, then it's like a glimpse of events. Next thing I see, my mum was changing my diaper. But self-awareness would probably be when I had death anxiety at 4-5 years old. The one that got me recently was that usually I think I have a body and I have arms and legs, but I should be thinking I am this body, I am my arms and legs. Very much every time I'm bored, got nothing to do, time to have an existential crisis. Sometime after I started college and found a solid group of friends who I love like a second family. Sometimes I struggle to feel like I'm a real human being that exists in a meaningful way, and then I remember that I have my friends. It's my birthday tomorrow, and the day after I'm having some friends over to smoke my first ever brisket for them. They might not know it, but it's how I feel I can thank them for being in my life and giving me a sense that things will be okay for me. Self-awareness. Age 5. I was 17. Standing in my bedroom, something clicked and I was aware. Can remember the moment clear as day.